The, the information in an environment is detected by the specialized tips of some nerve cells. These receptors are usually located in our sense organs such as the inner ear, the nose, the tongue, and so on. The gustatory receptors will detect the taste, while olfactory receptors will detect the smell. The information acquired at the end of the dendritic tip of a nerve cell sets off a chemical reaction that creates an electrical impulse. The impulse travels from the dendrite to the cell body and then along the axon to its end. At the end of the axon, the electrical impulse sets off the release of some chemicals. These chemicals cross the gap or synapse and start a similar electrical impulse in the dendrite of the next neuron. This is a general scheme of how nervous impulses travel in the body. A similar synapse finally allows delivery of such impulses from the other cells to such as the muscle cell or gland. It is no surprise that nervous tissue is made up of a network of nerve cells or neurons and is specialized for information via electrical impulses from one part of the body to other. Nerves from all over the body meet in a bundle cord on their way to brain. Meet in a bundle in the spinal cord on their way to the brain. Reflex arcs are formed in the spinal cord itself, although the information input also goes to reach the brain. Reflex arcs have evolved in animals because the thinking process of the brain is not fast enough. In fact, many animals have very little or none of the complex network needed for thinking. So it is quite likely that reflex arcs have evolved as efficient ways of functioning in the absence of true thought processes. However, even after complex neural networks come into existence, reflex arcs continue to be more efficient for quick responses. Spinal cord is made up of nerves which supply information. Thinking involves complex mechanisms and neural connections. These are concentrated in the main, which is the main coordination center of the body. The brain also sends messages to the muscles. This is the second way in which the nervous system communicates with the muscles. The communication between the central nervous system and the other parts of the body is facilitated by the peripheral nervous system consisting of cranial nerves arising from the brain and spinal nerves arising from the spinal cord. The forebrain is the main thinking part of the brain. It has regions which receive sensory impulses via various receptors. Separate areas of the forebrain are specialized for hearing, smell, sight, and so on. There are separate areas of association where the sensory information is interpreted by putting it together with information from other receptors as well as information that is already stored in the brain. Based on all this, a decision is made on how to respond to information passed to the motor areas of which control the movement of voluntary muscles. For example, our leg muscles sense certain sensations or instinct from seeing or hearing. For example, how we do that we have eaten enough. The sensation of feeling full is because of a center associated with hunger, which is a separate part of the forebrain. Hearts beat without our thinking about it. We cannot control these actions easily by thinking about them. A delicate organ like brain is protected in a bony box. Inside the box, the brain is contained in a fluid-filled balloon, which provides further shock absorption. If you run your hand down the middle of your back, you will feel a hard, bumpy structure. This is the vertebral column or the backbone which protects the spinal cord. Animals have nervous system for controlling and coordinating the activities of the body. Some plants like pea plant climb up to the trees or fences by tendrils. By means of tendrils, these tendrils are sensitive to touch. When they come in contact with any support, the part of the tendril in contact with the object does not grow as rapidly as the part of the tendril away from the object. This causes the tendril to circle around the object and thus cling to it. More commonly, plants respond to stimuli slowly by growing in a particular direction. Because this growth is directional, it appears as if plant is moving. Plants to tropism in response to stimuli. The roots of a plant always grow downwards while the shoots grow upwards away from the earth. This upward and downward growth respectively in response to the pull of gravity are obvious. It is called geotropism. In hydro means water and chemo refers to chemicals. And hydrotropism is the movement towards water and chemotropism is the movement towards the chemicals. On chemotherapy is the growth of pollen tubules towards the ovules, about which we learn about more the extra during the reproductive process of living organisms. The movement of the sensitive plant in response to touch is very quick. The movement of sunflowers in response to day or night on the other end is quite slow. Growth-related movement of plants will be even slower. Even in animal bodies, there are even carefully controlled directions to growth. Our arms and fingers grow in certain directions, not oppositely. So control movements can be either slow or fast. If fast responses to stimuli are made, information transfer must happen very quickly. Medium of transition must be able to move rapidly. Electrical impulses are an excellent means for this, but limitations to the use of electrical impulses. Instead of generating an electric impulse stimulated a chemical compound, a compound which disputes in the original cell. If other cells have the means to detect uh, these special molecules on cell, they would recognize information and even transmit it. Another example of plant hormones when growing plants detect light, a hormone called auxin uh, is synthesized at the shoot tip, helps the cells to grow longer. Auxin. When light is coming from one side of the plant, auxin diffuses towards the shady side of the root. This concentration of auxin stimulates the cells to grow longer on the side of the shoot which is away from the light. Thus the thus the Thus the plant appears to bend towards the light. Another example of plant hormones are gibberellins, which like auxins help in the growth of the stem. Cytokinins promote cell division, and it is natural then that they are present in greater concentration in areas of rapid cell division, such as in fruits and seeds. These are examples of plant hormones that help in promoting growth, but plants also need signals to stop growing. Abscisic acid is one example of a hormone which inhibits growth. Its effects include wilting of leaves. Its effects include wilting of leaves. Adrenaline is adrenaline hormone is secreted directly into the blood and carried to different parts of the body. The target organs or specific issues which it affects include the heart. As a result, the heart beats faster, resulting supply of more oxygen to our muscles. The blood to the digestive system and skin is reduced due to contraction of muscles around small arteries in these organs. This diverts the blood to our skeletal muscles. The breathing rate also increases because of the contractions of the diaphragm and the rib muscles. All these responsibilities together enable the animal body to be ready to deal with the situation. Such hormones are part of the endocrine system, which constitutes the second way of control and coordination in our body. Thyroxine hormone regulates the carbohydrate metabolism, carbohydrate, protein, and fat metabolism in the body, so as to provide the best balance for growth. Iodine is essential for synthesis of thyroxine. Iodine is deficient in the diet. There is possibly we might suffer from goiter disease. Sometimes we A growth hormone is one of the hormones secreted by the pituitary gland. As its name indicates, growth hormone regulates growth and development of the body. If there is deficiency of this hormone in childhood, it leads to dwarfism. Uh, Growth hormone, endocrine gland, pituitary gland stimulates growth in all organisms. Thyroid gland regulates metabolism for our body growth. Insulin regulates the blood sugar level. Is testosterone, testis, ovaries, development of female sex organs regulates menstrual cycle, etc. Adrenaline, endocrine gland, adrenal gland, uh, releasing hormones. Hormone functions stimulates pituitary gland to release hormones.